Welcome to the Gratitude Podcast, where we discuss all things growth, personal development, and how to live intentionally and purposefully. This episode, we're going to be diving into the first generation experience and not living up to your parents' standards. And I know that many of you can possibly relate to this, and I want to give you all space right now and permission. One, like I said, the theme of this season is giving yourself grace. Give yourself grace for not living up to your parents' expectations of you becoming a teacher, a doctor, or a lawyer. That's the trajectory for a lot of us from our parents. They're like, you have these three career options you choose, but you cannot stray outside of that. And once you do, it's like, what are you trying to do? Like, this wasn't the plan. And I also want to allow you guys to also give grace to your parents because our parents don't know any better. And a lot of times, their definition of success looks much different than our definition of success. And you need to realize what makes you happy at the end of the day. I was just having a discussion with a college junior, um, and she was like, "Oh, I promised my parents, I promised my mom that I was going to go to grad school." And for me, I was like, "Okay, I respect that. I understand you made these promises. I too made a promise to my father that I was going to get my master's in social work. If you know me, you know that I don't have no master's and I don't have a master's in social work. And it's okay because he learned to accept it. And that's not to say that in the future I may not want to go back to school to get my master's or anything like that. But right now, that's not my focus. So I had to remind her, I'm like, I know that you made your mom this promise, but you need to figure out why you want to pursue graduate school and why you want to pursue that specific degree and that specific career as well, because oftentimes we make these promises and it's when we're younger and we don't really know any better. But the older that you get, the more liberty and freedom you have to make a choice on what you want your life to look like. Your parents don't make the decisions for you anymore. You make your own decisions. So if you live a life that's unfulfilled for you and it's lacking purpose and you're not really doing things that you enjoy, start questioning as to why are you doing the things that you're doing? Is it to make your parents happy? Is it to make society happy? Is it to make your family happy? Or is it to make you happy? And I feel like as a first generation grad, I battled with this a lot. A lot of times I would stay in jobs longer than I needed to because I thought that my parents were going to be disappointed in me if I decided to quit. Um, and then I went ahead and quit after I felt like the job was no longer serving me. And I told my parents, it was a very honest conversation that we had. My first sales job out of college, I told them, I was like, this just isn't for me. My mental health is suffering here. And they actually were able to understand. And another thing that I want to highlight in this short story is that a lot of our parents don't discuss mental health issues. They may not be open or really know about these certain things because I'm pretty sure many of our parents have went through depression, have went through anxiety. These are just two common mental health issues that a lot of us face. They were raised in an era where they had to continue pushing on. At least for those of us that have boomer parents, because my parents are both boomers, they're in their 60s right now. And like they had to continue pushing on. They couldn't not have their foot on the gas at any given moment because they had people behind them. They had their family, especially as older siblings. They had mouths to feed. They had to just continue going. They didn't have the opportunity to just stop and rest. That's why a lot of our parents nowadays also just don't know how to stop. My dad was supposed to retire. My dad don't know how to stop working. And this is just a short example. Like, this is how they were raised to be. So try and understand and have these conversations with your parents so you're able to understand where they're coming from and why they think the way that they think as well. Because oftentimes we clash with our parents and it's because we don't see eye to eye on things because we can't just comprehend the way that they were raised and the way that their experiences molded them into the people that they are today. So always have open dialogue with your parents. I feel like it's allowed me and my parents' relationship to flourish more. And while they still question some of the decisions that I make, they are more certain now that I'm doing what's best for me. And ultimately, what's best for me is going to be what's best for them. And it's going to eventually bring us peace and joy. And something else that I want to highlight is that when you tell your parents that you want to go and do a venture that's like an entrepreneurial venture, they may be a little bit shaky because a lot of them at least from my experience, a lot of my aunts and uncles and my parents don't have their own businesses. So for them, they're job people. We, as people of color, are taught to be the best employees. We are not taught to be good business people. And this actually triggers a thought. I was having a conversation with a friend the other day, and she was talking about how she overheard a white family talking about her son was walking by them, and they didn't realize that that was like his mom, and he was like on the other side of the room. And long story short, they were like, oh, that's the kid that lives with me in my dorm, and he's always studying. And the white boy was like, oh, his parents were like, oh, why aren't you like studying with him? Why don't you get closer with him? And he's like, oh no, I want people to work for me. And as she shared this story with me, and this is obviously a summarized version of it, I was just like, wow, like this is crazy. Like white people, the majority of them, from my experience, the white people that I have interacted with, were raised to have this mentality where it's like, I am capable of being a CEO of a company one day and establishing my own ventures, my own businesses, and have employees working for me as opposed to me being an employee and being the best employee. But immigrant households is that you're going to go be the best employee, and our parents can't even fathom the thought of us being amazing CEOs and running our own stuff. So, again, if you are somebody that wants to pursue an entrepreneurial venture, I'm giving you permission to do it. Give yourself permission to do it because our parents just can't understand this because it wasn't their reality. And with growing up comes unlearning a lot of patterns that we learned as young people. And it's hard, but you need to do it in order for you to succeed. And I'm realizing that now. Like my parents want me to be the best employee, and I don't think that I want to be the best employee. Like that's not my aspirations in life. Especially, I don't want to be an employee forever. My parents have been working since they were like 5 years old, and they're both in their 60s right now. And I've seen the way that they've broken their backs to be able to put food on the table and never have us missing anything. And kudos to them because I honestly don't know if I could be the way that they were. And I respect my parents so much for that. But in all of this, I also want to say that they are from a different generation. So give them grace in the way that they think, and also try to explain to them why you're coming from the way that you're coming from and the ideas that you have in your head. Something else that I want to bring up is that you need to pursue your dreams for yourself. Don't pursue your parents' dreams. Your parents' dreams are your parents' dreams. And that's just that. If you try and go after other people's dreams that they have for you, you're never going to be fulfilled in life. And that's just the honest truth. And I want you to be fulfilled in life. That is why I wrote my second book, Dreams Don't Cost a Thing, because I want people to live more intentionally and purposefully and go after the dreams that they want, that they may be even scared to say out loud. But we need to start living more intentionally and start putting our foot down when it comes to having these discussions with our parents because sometimes I don't even share everything with my parents because I know that they're just not going to understand where I'm coming from. And, again, it wasn't their lived experience. So you need to understand that people's experiences create their realities, and you get to choose your reality and change your experiences at any given moment. So, with that, I leave you with this one last thought. Grow in your relationships with your parents, have honest conversations with them. If you don't want to be an engineer, if you don't want to be a teacher, if you don't want to be a doctor, have these honest conversations with them because it will allow you to grow your relationship with them. And our parents are not going to be here forever. They're not, unfortunately. And I get emotional even thinking about this because I love my parents so much, but they're not going to be here forever. So build that relationship while they're still here and just know that they want what's best for you. And when you're doing what you want to do and walking in your power and doing the things that bring you joy, they're going to be happy for you. Your parents are going to support you regardless of anything. So, ciao. I'm sending you guys all love, and I hope that you're all staying warm wherever you are. Till next time.